Hey, family, and welcome to Save Space. Today, Wednesday, November 17th on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. I am Carol Riddick, and today is my last day guest hosting for this week, but it's all right. It's all right. I always have such a great time with you guys, and I appreciate all the love you demonstrate on and off the show. It is always my privilege and a pleasure to share this time, this space, and energy with you and our producer extraordinaire, Miss Kayla J., who makes sure everything runs smoothly. Thank you, lady. So we have some amazing guests tonight as well, and I'm encouraging you all to talk to us, talk to them, call in and, just share your thoughts and everything. And you can do so by calling 215-634-8065 or toll free at 1-866-361-0900. And if you leave us a comment on our socials, as always, I promise, I will do my best to read it on the air. But if you're interested in connecting on social media, you can reach me on IG at Carol_Riddick and on Facebook at carolriddick.vocalist. I had to remember that. And you can reach Miss Kayla J everywhere at KaylaJ_music nerd. So before we go any further, I just want to say thank you. Again, thank you to those of you who are already tuned in, and to those who will tune in, and to those of you who wanted to do so. Whew. Anyway, this hour goes by so quickly, so let's dive in. I'd like to introduce you to our first guest this evening. He's one of the most influential stand-up comedians. He's an actor, a writer. He's credited with having written for TV shows, a number of things, including the 36th Annual NAACP Image Awards, and he has a host of other accomplishments. Family, welcome to the space, none other than Mr. Terry Hodges. Hey, Terry.
Hey, how you doing? Thank you. I think you did your homework.
Just a little bit, just a little bit. How are you doing today?
I'm good. God is good. Beautiful day today, and nowadays you can't ask for much more.
Listen, you better not. You hear me? God is great. I said that one time to a gentleman. I said, God is good. He said, good. Fried chicken is good. God is great. I said, and you know what? You are absolutely right about it.
I saw a guy last week. I said, how you doing? He said, great. I was like, okay. He was about 90.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was about 90.
Oh, see, that's awesome. I love that. See, those are the conversations that I want to have. The conversations, right. with individuals in that demographic. Those are the conversations. So listen, Terry, like I said, this time goes by so quickly. But I'd like for you to first start by telling everybody from where you come. Those who are unfamiliar, I just want them to know so much about you.
Well, I'm originally from Pontiac, Michigan. I grew up right down the street from Motown. Growing up as a kid, going to the Fox Theater to see the Motown Review. I left Pontiac, Michigan to go to Dillard University in New Orleans. And there, my senior year, actually, Showtime Cable Network was looking for the funniest person in America. And they were going from city to city to find this comedian. And my first time ever on, I was always like, they had to say the class clown. I was the school clown. I kept everybody dying laughing for years and years and years. So I said, I want to try my hand at comedy. So the first time ever on stage, I went in and they had the semifinals for the funniest person in New Orleans. I won. And then they had the finals the next week. And the person who actually beat me out, they were actually from New Orleans. And they have been doing comedy for a number of years. And she ended up winning, which I was cool with that because I didn't have no joke. I didn't have nothing. I just got up there and just winged it. And that person was Ellen.
What?
DeGenerate, yeah. It was Ellen. She
wow.
beat me and then she went on to do Star Search and everything else. And yeah, but it was cool because I had never been on stage before, but I was hooked from that point on. So that was in November of 82. Then in 83, January of 83, I moved to Los Angeles and I started doing Marla Gibbs Supper Club, me and George Lopez.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so me and George, and then left there and I went to New York, and I was always wanting to do the Apollo Theater. It was closed. It hadn't been open in 30 years. And then the Sutton family, Percy Sutton and the Sutton family opened it up. And I used to always bug them about, hey, I want to do the Apollo. I want to do the Apollo. So when they opened up, I was their house comedian for like 6 years. So one night, yeah, for 6 years, I check this out. I did everything from, they would have 3 shows, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday, they would have the rap shows, which was Run DMC, Curtis Blow, Houdini, you know, the real rappers back in the day. Then on Saturdays, they would have R&B, Millie Jackson, the OJs, and et cetera, you know. So, yeah, and then they had a summer jazz series. Lil Jimmy Scott, David Fathead Newman, Nancy Wilson, you know, Art Blakely and the Jazz Messengers featuring Wynton Marsalis. I was the host of all of that. And guess what I did, Carol? I took pictures. I got pictures of everybody.
Okay, see, I need to see all of that.
Yeah.
No, seriously, I am not playing. I need to see all of that.
Let me tell you a really good story. I was doing a show. I had a number of people on the show, jazz show. But this particular night, they had Lil Jimmy Scott on the show. Bill Cosby, Miles Davis, and Dizzy Gillespie came to the show to see Lil Jimmy Scott, and I was the host.
Wow!
So I got a chance. So I did that, and then they had this TV show called Showtime at the Apollo. Well, I was already in-house comedian, so I was the first host of Showtime at the Apollo. Me and a Spanish guy by the name of Rick Aviles. So I'm going fast.
No, listen, I'm enjoying every moment. So go right ahead.
So we were the host. We used to do the commercials. We used to do everything for the show. Sidebar. I'm doing the show one night, and this guy is standing in the back of stage, and he's smoking a cigarette. And he says, "Hey man, you real funny dude, man." He said, "Me and my sons are going on tour next week. Well, won't you call this guy Jeff Sharp and tell him I said we want you to be the opening act." It was Eddie Levert.
I knew you were going to say that.
And that was my first tour, was the OJs and Levert.
Let me tell you something. It doesn't get any better than that.
And another person who introduced me to Eddie at that very moment was Deanna Williams.
Can I please tell you, I think with the exception of maybe 2 people, everybody has a connection to Deanna. Everybody.
She's the one who introduced me to Eddie, and her and Eddie were standing there. If it wasn't for her introducing me to Eddie, I never would have got that tour.
Wow.
And that's how I got the tour, between Deanna and Eddie Levert. And so check it out. So I go out. Okay.
No. I'm first of all, I'm on 10 just listening to the story alone. But I was going to say that I was going to ask you to share some stories about that tour, because first of all, Eddie is a character. We all know.
No, let me tell you what he did. Eddie. So check this out. So the second night, okay. So the first night, I hit at 8 o'clock. Gerald and them hit. Levert hit at 8:30, and Eddie and them hit at 8:45. Okay. At 8 o'clock, 8:05, they telling me to go out. Well, you know, if there's 2,000 people that's coming to the show, it's only about maybe 400 or 500, if that's already sitting in the audience, because there are people still parking there at the concession stand, they're doing it. So I said, well, ain't nobody out there. Eddie says, yeah, that's why we hired you.
Oh. That sounds like him.
Yeah. So check this out. So the second night, right? So we're in Virginia, and I go out on stage, and it's pretty packed. It's about 80% packed. And they let the lights down, and I'm getting ready to start my show, and everybody started booing. So my first thing is like, wow, why are these people booing me? I haven't even told the truth. Well, what happened was, an older lady had fell down in the aisle. She was like maybe 80 years old.
Ooh.
And they was booing because they wanted the people to turn the lights back up so they could come in and assist her and, you know, take her to the hospital.
Of course.
She passed away.
Oh.
She passed away. Yeah, she passed away on the way to the hospital. Now, this ain't funny, but this is factual. For the
Okay.
rest of the tour, Eddie would walk past my dressing room and say, "Terry, you're killing them."
Oh, okay, Terry. That was
Yeah, I'm telling
horrible.
you, Ed,
That was
I'm
horrible.
right, right,
That
right. But that's Eddie though.
God rest her soul. That was horrible. But you know what?
That's Eddie.
And I do know, as I did say, I did state Eddie is a character.
Right, right.
He is a character, and we all know
So,
that. We
so I finished the tour. It was a Christmas tour. So I finished the tour. A guy by the name of Erskine Isaac, he was working for a famous artist.
okay.
And he kept telling me he was going to give me some gigs. He's going to give me some gigs. So he calls me on the phone one day. This is 2 weeks after the OJ's tour.
Oh
So
wow.
he calls me on the phone. He said, "Hey man, I got this gig with you at Westbury Music Fair with Patti LaBelle." And he said, "I need a favor." He said, "I don't want any money. I don't want you to give me no commission or anything." He said, "But I'm the only black that works for this company, and I've been pumping you up. I need you to go out there and make me look good." So I said, "Okay." So I go out, I get a standing ovation, and Patty puts me on her tour. That
Mm.
particular tour was 100 nights. He
Wow.
did a 100-night tour, and I was there. I started the tour with her, and I mean we did 100 nights. Now this is really important. It was an Al Heyman tour.
Okay.
From that tour, Al Heyman hired me for the next 19 years.
Wow.
So I toured with
Terry.
Patty, Luther, Anita Baker, the OJs, the Whispers, Phyllis Hyman,
Hmm.
Earth, Wind and Fire, Frankie Beverly, everybody for 19 years. Every tour that happened over the last 19 years, I was the opening act.
It doesn't get any better than that. I mean,
And I'm talking about
well, wait.
19.
I want to go back to something that you said, though. I mean, well, first of all, I want to talk about all of that. But did you say that this gentleman said he was the only person of color that worked for this particular company?
For this agency, yeah. He was, because you know, back then, even now, they don't have a lot of black agents.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
But I'm not discounting the fact because, I'm grateful to him and for him for calling you. As
Yeah. That was, and I made him look good, and I ended up Al Heyman and Freddie got by the name of Freddie C, who was his partner for 19 years. I was their go-to guy.
Terry, first of all, okay, let me just make sure I am hearing all of this well because I know you didn't know half of this, but we're talking about from the day you started, from the time you started,
Right.
everything, you've just been nonstop.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I worked 2 to 3 nights a week for a whole year before I even got any money. That's why when my opportunity came, I was ready. It wasn't about money. It was about how being a comedian, being great. That's why Dave Chappelle is so great today. He don't care about money. He's an artist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when you're an artist separates an entertainer that's just hustling.
That's when you're true to your craft.
When
That's
you're
when you're
true to
true.
your craft, when you can
When
go
you're
up night after
passionate.
night after night, and it's just about, okay, was it funnier this night or was it funnier this? And that's what we were doing back in the day. And Dave has never stopped that. He just
Yeah.
happened to be the #1 comedian in the world. But
Yeah.
Dave would go on stage 5 nights in a row for free if he had to.
I can tell you, I don't blame them. I mean, but as a creative and as a performer, to work in the spirit, work in your realm, and work in your passion, it's euphoric. There is nothing that compares to it.
It's the closest thing to God that you can say. And people might say, well, why you say God? Because the gift comes from God.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. Yes, exactly. Exactly. I try to tell people that all the time. It doesn't come from us. It doesn't
No,
come from us at all. We all have gifts, but we just so
right.
happen to be creatives and we get to work in this space. But it's not anything we bought, we made, manufactured on our own.
No. God gives us the gift, and we have to work the gift. It's so funny now. I'm gonna give you another sidebar. I was talking to a guy, and he was saying, "Man, I went to see Frankie Beverly, and he didn't sound that good." Or I went to see such and such, and they didn't sound that good. I said, "Let me remind you of something." I said, "How old are you?" He said, I'm 64. I said, remember when you was in the 7th grade and you saw Frankie Beverly and Patti LaBelle and the OJs on Soul Train? They have lived their gift.
And are living their gift.
Right.
Do you hear me? Still sharing their gift. That's the thing about it. Still sharing their gift. You know, that's a blessing in and of itself, to be able to continue to work in your gift.
I learned showmanship from two people. I learned showmanship from Eddie Levert, and I learned showmanship from Patti LaBelle. Patti LaBelle, man, she used to, she used to give me chills.
Okay, wait, I'm going to stop you right there because we are about to take a break, but I want to hear all of that. I want to say first, though, that Chip is saying hello. Mardia, who was a guest last night, is saying hello. And Karen is saying hello to you. This is Terry Hodges, the one and only comedian. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Comcast has built a broadband network with one simple purpose: to keep customers connected every single day. In the last 10 years, we have invested $30 billion and $15 billion since 2017 alone to keep America's largest gig-speed broadband network fast, secure, and reliable. Because more Americans rely on Comcast to stay connected, we work around the clock to build a better network every single day. Comcast. Better today, even better tomorrow. Learn more at comcast.com/network.
I was probably a little bit like you. There was a lot of talk about the COVID-19 vaccines. I didn't know what to believe, and I tell you, everyone has an opinion. Some of my friends got vaccinated and some were against it. But I knew this was an important decision, so I went to somebody I already trusted, my doctor. It's your call, so talk to your doctor or healthcare provider and make the decision that's right for you. You can go to getvaccineanswers.org for the latest information. That's getvaccineanswers.org, brought to you by the Ad Council.
You know that feeling? Like every door is closing and you just can't see a way out? Being unemployed, underemployed, or just out of school can feel like that. But when you find the right tools, suddenly everything just clicks. FindSomethingNew.org offers resources that help develop new skills. Skills that can position you for careers in today's growing industries, from healthcare and manufacturing to cybersecurity and alternative energy. Find your path to a new career at FindSomethingNew.org. A message from the Ad Council.
The Word Radio newsletter, keeping you informed, engaged, and connected. Sign up by visiting wordradio.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page and type your email address under Connect with Us. You'll receive the latest information on Word Radio. Messages from our president and CEO, Sarah Lomax Reese. Exclusive articles and multimedia content and resources. Stay informed with the Word Radio newsletter. Save Space on Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Independent Black Media.
Oh my goodness. Hello there. If you have just joined us, you are listening to Save Space on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, 96.1 FM and 900 AM. Call us and talk to us. You can do so by dialing 215-634-8065 or toll free at 1-866-361-0900. Before we went to break, we were talking with one of the most, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, one of the most influential stand-up comedians, Mr. Terry Hodges. But Terry, before we continue the conversation that you started, because I want to hear all about the showmanship that you learned from none other than our auntie, Miss Patti LaBelle, we have a caller. Timothy is on the line, and he'd like to say hello to us. Timothy, are you still there?
I'm still here, Carol.
Tim, how are you?
I'm real good, but let me tell you something, right? In all of your expertise as a professional, and that gentleman right there who's a comedian, right?
Mm-hmm.
Michael Eric Dyson has a book called Entertaining Race. And in the book, he puts Beyonce as the best voice and the best dancer of all time. So people did comparison. They said, you mean to tell me she supersedes Prince? He says, yes. You mean to tell me she supersedes James Brown? He says, yes. And then he goes on and on. I'm going to say this to you, that, I mean, they didn't mention Michael Jackson's name. Or they didn't get a chance to mention Jimi Hendrix's name. But my question to you, whether he's being political or not, would you take a position that strong? Because, don't get me wrong, the young lady can sing, and she can perform. But you think she can out-sing a Whitney Houston? Wait a minute now. Or do you think she can out-dance a Michael Jackson? I'm saying this guy puts her right there where if you're in the clouds, she's in the universe. She's in the stars. So I want to know your opinions as your expertise with this gentleman here and yourself to give me your opinion there, to be able to bite off an apple that big and to put her up there. Give me your opinions. I just want to know, and your positions.
I will gladly give you my opinion. You know, my opinion on that is that everybody has their own opinion. You know, that's how he's speaking about how he feels. He's expressing, you know, who he feels to be the epitome or the pinnacle. And that's what he expressed. That doesn't stand for what everybody else feels or somebody else feels or may not very well stand for what I feel. So what I say to you is I respect the opinions of everybody. Everybody has an opinion. We all know that. So if that's what you're asking me, if I'm, you know, to respond to, you know, well, you did. You asked me what my opinion was of what he said. So my opinion is that that is his opinion.
Not above criticism, but I'm going to say this, that some things you have to logically say that are positions. To give you an example, some people said to me, well, James Brown could dance, but he couldn't sing. I said, but guess what? He could sing a ballad. James Brown could sing a ballad. If he just howled and screamed at anything, he could sing This Is the Man's World.
Tim, let me tell you this, but you know, again, that's their opinion. That's how they feel. But then, you know, you take into consideration too, say that, you know, the person that is speaking on a particular subject has only had exposure to a certain number of experiences. They're only able to speak on those experiences. You understand what I'm saying? You know, that means that their knowledge is not as extensive. So again, I say that I respect everybody's opinion, you know, and exactly with that in mind, having taken into consideration that everybody has not had the same experiences or, you know, and that contributes to why their opinion may be what it is. But it's not good, bad, or indifferent. You know, it's just what it is. It's just their opinion.
And what about the gentleman? What does he have to say about it?
Terry?
Well, I can't say it no better than what Carol just said. Eric Dyson is a very intelligent brother. That's his opinion. I don't agree with it, but that's his opinion. One of the main reasons why I don't agree with it, our culture, meaning Black folks, we have a tendency to highlight the person that's in the spotlight at that particular time and moment.
We do.
Not realizing. Yeah, you know, like you turn around, like they'll say, is Michael Jordan the GOAT? Is LeBron James the GOAT? We as a race of people are the only race that does that. Who's better, who's this, who's hot now, who's not hot. A white artist cannot go on tour for 10 years and announce that they're going on tour and tickets are sold out all over the country, all over the world. A Black artist cannot do anything for 10 years. Well, he's still around, blah, blah, blah. So it's a game that's being played. When you say Beyonce is the best singer Everybody know that's not true. Okay, I mean, at the end of the day, that's not. But like Ms. Reddick said, that's his opinion, and it's like people say, how Wilt Chamberlain has, I don't know, I'm trying to think of Bill Russell. Bill Russell has 11 rings, and he's not the GOAT. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the leading scorer in NBA history. He ain't the GOAT. You
That's
know,
good.
it's
like
relative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everything is relative. Eddie Murphy was selling out arenas 25 years ago. Kevin Hart is selling out arenas now. Both of them are great. Everybody's great. Beyonce is great. Patti LaBelle is great. Anita Baker is great. Carol Reddick is great. Everybody is great. And that's one of the things that I hope that somehow Black people stop doing that. Everybody is great. There's no one. Patty is not better than Gladys Knight. Gladys Knight is not better than Dionne Warwick. Dionne Warwick is not better than Anita Baker. Anita Baker, it's everybody is great. And the people that ain't great ain't great.
Good. I like that.
You like that,
That
Tim?
seals the deal. That's good. That's why I called in, because I know y'all had the answers.
Well, we appreciate you calling in.
Okay, lady. Okay, sir. That was great. That was
Thank you so much. You too. If you have just joined us, you are listening to Save Space on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, 96.1 FM and 900 AM. Please do call us. We love talking with you. You can do so by dialing 215-634-8065 or toll free at 1-866-361-0900. So we've been talking with comedian extraordinaire, Mr. Terry Hodges. And Terry was talking with us about from whom he learned showmanship. And you credit and attribute that to none other than our beloved Patti LaBelle. And who else was it that you mentioned? Was it Eddie LaVert?
I mean, Eddie was a character on stage. Patti LaBelle, she did something one day that was just incredible. Okay, check this out. So she's singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. That's her signature song when she's leaving the stage. And she's singing, and she's left the stage, and she's still singing, and she's in the limo. And everybody thinks that she's coming back out, and she's steady singing. And she, as the limo is driving off, she hands the microphone to the stage guy. I mean, let me tell you a trick. She might get mad at me when I say this. I'm gonna tell you a classic trick that she used to do on stage. She'd be blowing, she'd be throwing down. Then she would take the microphone. She wouldn't be saying nothing, but she acting like she's singing. And they be like, yeah, Patty, yeah, sing it down, sing it. I mean, when you talk about showmanship, stage presence, and somebody that Patti LaBelle is the epitome of a person that's coming to work. Yeah. You ain't getting no half show. And let me say this, in terms of professional, and not saying that any of them not professional, in terms of professionalism and in terms of preparation, there's nobody ever better than Luther Vandross.
Really?
I toured with Luther for 5 years. Let me tell you what Luther would do. Luther would come in at 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They would do sound check. Now, mind you, we got 40 shows, okay? He would do sound check. Sound check could last a half an hour. It could last 2 hours. It depends on if they get it right. He would never leave the theater. You know, most these acts, they go back to the hotel. They don't do sound check. They have the other band people doing sound check. He wouldn't do that. He would stay at the theater until the show was over with. But guess what he would do, Carol? He would do the exact same thing 40 nights. He had sound check for it, and that's why he was so great.
But I appreciate that. I can definitely appreciate that. Yeah, I'd say that's the best practice. I definitely do. You know, there's something about being at the venue when you come there as you know, when you come there for a sound check, because you get a sense of the atmosphere. You know, you start to take it all in, and the longer you're there for that day, the more comfortable you become. The more comfortable you become.
For 19 years, I rode the production bus. I refused to ride the artist bus because familiarity breeds contentment. And the production bus would get to the theater in the morning.
Yep. Yeah. You know, a lot of people don't know that. Production rarely sleeps. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So I would always ride the production bus, and I would get there, and in 35 years of show business, I've never been late for a show in 35 years.
Yeah.
And another thing, if you entertainers are listening to this, what you do on stage, what you do off stage is just as important as what you do and how you carry yourself on stage.
Can you say that again, please?
What you do off stage is just as important as what you do on stage.
Ooh.
Luther, in 5 years of being on tour with Luther, he and I probably had 4 conversations. And I never went to the dressing room to try to meet anybody. But guess what? I always got the call for 5 years. I always got the call. Call Terry Hodges, call Terry Hodges, call Terry Hodges.
It's about a work ethic.
Gerald Levert and I were friends. Gerald and I would probably have 2 or 3 conversations other than, hey, how you doing? Mm-hmm. We wouldn't even, I never tried to hang out with him. It was work. It was business. And we were doing the Regal Theater. We were doing the Regal Theater one night in Chicago. It was New Year's Eve, and Eddie and them, they came late. But you know what they said? Oh, we know Terry there. He'll hold it down.
But you know what? I love that, because they knew that they could count on you. Terry, I want to take a moment because we have another caller. Friendly Fred is on the line. Fred, are you still there?
Yes, I am. How y'all doing?
We're doing well. Thank you. How about you?
Wonderful. Just to take a couple seconds to say, I just want to say the star of the story, right? And I write a song for you. You write a song for me. We write a song of love. And it's the Morning Glory story, and it's a love story. Our love story. That's all I had to say.
It's our love story.
Yes, because love is a symphony, heart, soul, and melody, and it's the heartbeat of life.
It is.
And it's on one accord, and a symphony of love.
Fred, thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for calling in. Terry, I want to, you know what? I have to say that Fred is right. It is all about love, because God is love.
What are you talking about? Fred?
He does. Fred does know what he's talking about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
But I want you to continue. We're going to go to break in a minute, but before we do, I would like for you to continue what you started to say.
Another thing, I did all of the comedy shows, BT, Def Comedy Jam, Evening at the Improv. I did all the comedy television shows. I did all the tours. I did everything. I never had an agent or a manager.
Wait, okay, say that one more time. You said you've never, I'm repeating it, but I want you to say it. You said what now?
I've never had an agent or a manager.
Are you serious?
I knew how. We'll talk about that after the break, but yeah, I never had an agent.
Listen. Okay, we're going to talk about a couple of things, because I'm digesting you say that, and I'm recalling, because now Terry, correct me if I'm wrong, because did you not act in the movie Malcolm X?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so with all of these accomplishments and all of these incredible experiences that you've been blessed to partake in.
Well, I had an agent. God was my agent, but yeah. But
that's
I never
right.
Had
okay. Yes,
God was my agent and my manager, but I'll explain it to you. It's very interesting, but I never had an agent or manager.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about that. I do want to recognize that Nasir Butler is saying hello. He says peace and blessings. Chip has commented about 3 times. That's my good friend. And Chip is saying you are a wealth of knowledge, and he is just happy to receive all of it.
Oh, wow.
Marty is sending me messages saying, oh my goodness, can Terry just talk more? Can Terry just talk more? Because everybody is enjoying, the stories that you are sharing. I too am enjoying the stories that you're sharing. I mean, please, it's so amazing to me when you and I get together or when we talk about life. We just chitting and chatting. It's just what it is. It's just a regular day. It amazes me, and I keep telling everybody this, it amazes me, all of the wonderful individuals with whom I am blessed to know. You are one of those individuals, but and it's not just because of your accomplishments, it's because of your heart. But
we go way back.
Yeah, yes, but I'm saying, and to be able to sit and talk with you and hear everything that, I said, wait a minute, I didn't know that. I didn't, and it keeps happening. It keeps happening. I think all week people are probably saying, wait, she said that was her friend, but she doesn't know anything about she doesn't know anything about them. In any event, when we come back, I want you to share with us how you have been able to maintain, sustain, and retain, without having a manager and an agent. Please stay with us. We will be right back.
This Word Wellness vignette is brought to you by Keystone First. Word Radio presents the following wellness tip to support our listeners with mindfulness and motivation.
This is Helana, your resident expert health and wellness coach with tips to help you stay well. Let's talk about taking care of your teeth. Many of us understand that we only get one set of permanent teeth in our lifetime, and how we take care of them shows. Instilling good dental hygiene habits from the very beginning can truly pay off. Poor dental hygiene can be expensive, painful, and interfere with your overall health. Good dental hygiene can simply look like this. Brush your teeth twice per day with a soft bristled brush and fluoride-free toothpaste. Floss every day and limit your intake of sugary sweet foods. Pay a visit to your dentist regularly to keep your dental hygiene on track, and don't avoid those tough conversations. We sometimes think addressing our dental hygiene has to be a time-consuming and stressful activity, but just a few minutes a day, brushing and flossing, can make a big difference. Taking care of our teeth is something we can all do to support our overall health. Go ahead and try it today. Stay well with Word.
Stay well with Word. Connect with us at wordradio.com. This Word Wellness vignette was brought to you by Keystone First. For more information, visit KeystoneFirstPA.com.
Remember the last time your family visited the forest? It's a place of wonder and imagination for the whole family, where stories come to life. And it's closer than you think. Ready to plan your next visit? Make the forest part of your story today at a local park near you, or find one at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
I would like to play a little tune I just composed not so long ago.
Hey family, do you like hearing the best jazz selections aired by three of the best jazz announcers in Philadelphia? Well, tune in to 96.1 FM,
96.1 FM,
and 900 AM, WURD Radio, independent black media, for Freedom Sounds of Jazz.
Freedom Sounds of Jazz.
Hear Freedom Sounds of Jazz 10 p.m. Fridays with your hosts in rotation, Aquila, Jonathan Bay, and David Fritz. That's 10 p.m. Friday nights on WURD 96.1 FM and 900 AM, independent black media.
Stand with Word Radio, the only black-owned talk radio station in Pennsylvania. Did you know you can join the Forward movement and amplify voices of the black community as a digital member for as low as $5 per month? Visit membership at wordradio.com or call 215-425-7875. We need you. Show your support. Start or renew your Forward membership today. Save Space on Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Independent Black Media.
Miss Kayla is over there killing with the music. Family, you are listening to Save Space on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. That's 96.1 FM and 900 AM. Call us, talk to us, share with us. You can do so by dialing 215-634-8065 or toll free at 1-866-361-0900. Before the break, we were talking with a comedian extraordinaire, I should say actor and writer and everything under the umbrella. There's so much that I want to share with everybody, and I know we don't have a whole lot of time to do so, but I want to go back to the conversation that you started, Terry Hodges, about having no agent and no manager. What?
Yeah, I want to also say, I don't necessarily recommend that. I mean, I think that you should have an agent, but I don't think that should be your all to be all. I came in a very unique situation where, like I said, I got in through Eddie Levert and Deanna Williams, and then once I hooked up with Al Heyman, who was the concert promoter. So he's the promoter that's paying all the acts. So the agent could say they want their comedian on the show, but the agent ain't the one that's paying the bill. So Al Heyman and Freddie C always would put me on. And then I started the very first Black comedy club on the East Coast. It was called Terminal D. Anybody will tell you that. Bill Bellamy, anybody will tell you that. I started the very first there was 2 Black comedy clubs in America, the Comedy Act Theater in California, where Robert Harris came out of. And then you had Terminal D in Newark, New Jersey, which went from Terminal D to 88 to the Peppermint Lounge, where Bill Bellamy started hosting. Well, I created that. A guy by the name of Bob Sumner and myself, we started the very first Black comedy club on the East Coast. And then they had the Uptown Comedy Club in Harlem, which is where Tracy Morgan and a lot of those cats came out of. But I was the one who started the whole Black comedy thing. So I had those connections. I was doing everything that you'll see over the last 25 years of Black comedy nights. I started that on the East Coast. When you see Warm Daddy's got a comedy night, I started that 25 years ago. That's a fact. Any comedian, Kevin Hart, Dave Chappelle, anybody will tell you that. So let me go. So from doing that, Russell Simmons got the idea to do Def Comedy Jam from going to the Uptown Comedy Club in Harlem. The guy that I was partnered with, Bob Sumner in New Jersey, was the talent coordinator for Def Comedy Jam.
Wow.
So having those groundbreaking things, I always got plugged into the television shows. Through Al Heyman, I got plugged into the tours. This guy named Oscar Kuhn. I'm
sorry to have interjected. I consider that divine orchestration, because everything that you are sharing, I mean, that is the perfect demonstration and example of your steps being ordered. You have been blessed abundantly. You still are blessed abundantly.
Let me tell you a story real quick. I'm getting emotional when I say that. So Rick Aviles and I, we were the very first comedians for Showtime at the Apollo. They didn't have any comedians, didn't know nothing about no comedians. So we were doing this thing. A lot of the guest hosts couldn't read the teleprompter. A lot of them for the amateur part of the show. So they had a slot, and they was trying to figure out, what can we do with this slot? And I give God all the credit, not Terry Hodges. I give God all the credit. I suggest we put comedians on the show. That's how comedians got on Showtime at the Apollo. They say they knew Eddie Murphy. They didn't know nothing about no Steve Harvey. They didn't know nothing about none of these other comedians. They knew Eddie Murphy, and then Damon Wayans and Keenan Ivory Wayans and Robert Townsend used to come over to the show because they was promoting their movie, I'm Going to Get You Sucker.
Yes.
Okay, so they knew them, but they didn't know. So they were trying to figure out if it would work. It ended up working. And what they did was, Sinbad doesn't know this. He tells the story, but he doesn't know because I was there. Sinbad was the first comedian that they let host the whole show. Like I used to host part of it. Rick Aviles would host part of it. But when Sinbad came in, he was so good that he ended up hosting the whole show. And then from Sinbad to Kim Coles for a bit, and from Kim Coles to Mark Curry, from Mark Curry to Sinbad.
Wow.
I mean, to Steve Harvey.
Wow. Terry.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how all that happened.
So, okay. I want to say hello before I move on to Cedric. Cedric is saying hello to us. Thelma is saying hello to us. Chip is saying this, everything that you're saying is absolutely amazing. So I wanted to share that with you because we're having friends of ours talk with us on our socials. But I want to touch on how you transitioned into writing and how you did so for the NAACP Image Awards and for TV shows and all of that. And because we have so little time left, please talk to us about that too.
I went to Lincoln University to see a comedy show. A young guy on the show by the name of Chris Tucker. He was on the show, and we got to talking after the show, and must have been about maybe 12 o'clock at night. And we was in the hotel in the whole night. And just like I'm talking now, I was talking to him at 12 o'clock at night. Next thing I know, the sun was coming up. So he was like, man, this dude is he has a lot of knowledge. Talking about myself. And when he blew up, he would call me and say, hey man, I need you to come write this for me. I need you to come do this. He called me on the phone one day. He said, man, I just did this movie, man. And I don't think it's any good. I said, you did a movie? He said, yeah, man. He said, I just did this movie. I don't think it's any good. I hate that I did it. And I said, you did a movie? He said, yeah. I said, you did a movie? He said, yeah, why you keep saying that? I said, yeah, you did a movie. The movie was Fridays.
Wow.
He was pissed that he did the movie Fridays because he didn't think it was going to go anywhere.
Are you kidding me?
So anytime he had NAACP Image Awards, anything he was doing on television, I would come in and write.
I'm dumbfounded. I'm dumbfounded. Yeah. I mean, and I did know that you wrote for Chris Tucker, but wow.
So the NAACP, I wrote a lot of all of their monologues and different stuff. Yeah.
So now that was the start of it for you?
Yeah, that was the start of it. Of course, you write your own jokes every night. See, that's the difference with a lot of comedians today. They're not writing constantly. When you look at Chris Rock, when you look at Dave Chappelle, they're constantly evolving because they're constantly writing.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? And David's so good because he's in the heartbeat of what's going on in the world right now. And all he's doing is getting on stage and talking about what's going on today.
There's a lot of material.
That's an artist. That's what Marvin Gaye did. That's what Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff did. That's, it's. Before we go, because I want to say that I want to give Kenny Gamble a shout out. And the reason why I want to give him a shout out, when you look at LeBron James opening up the school and doing all of the stuff that he's doing in his community, Kenny Gamble did that 25 years ago.
A lot of people don't know that. Well, didn't. I know
right.
A few who didn't know that.
Yeah. Kenny Gamble, in terms of Kenny Gamble got rid of his mansions, got rid of all of that high profile stuff, moved back into the neighborhood that he grew up in, reopened the school that he went to, and it's a charter school. Kenny Gamble did what LeBron James and everybody is raving about today, and they should rave about it because that's a fantastic thing to do. Kenny Gamble did that 25, 30 years ago.
He sure did. And let me tell you, the school, well, first of all, he lived 1 block away from me. He used to drive by my house and beep every day. Hey, Carol, every day, every single day.
Right.
Right down the street. We would walk by each other on the pavement. I tell you, and that speaks volumes. That speaks volumes.
I just wanted to get that out because Kenny Gamble he's a force to be reckoned with.
Well, wait, I don't want to, I know we don't have you for much longer, but I also don't want to skip over the fact that you were in the movie Malcolm X. Please talk to us about that.
Oh, that was a blessing. I auditioned, and Spike said, you don't have to audition. We're going to make you a principal extra, which is good, because I was just happy to be in the movie. But man, we used to have so much fun. And I was in the room with, go back to what I said earlier. how you act away from the stage is how you act on the stage. It's the same thing. So for a whole 3 to 4 months, I never spoke to Denzel. Everybody was walking up to me, hey, hi, Mr. Minister, Brother Malcolm, they used to call him. I know I got to hurry up. Brother Malcolm, Brother Malcolm, Brother Malcolm. I never talked to him. I never crowded his space.
Well, wait, actually, Terry, I'm going to interrupt you because I want to go to break and I want to save this story, okay? Because I want you to take your time. I want you to take your time and I want everybody to stay with us. So, everybody, we will be right back.
Football season is here. Stock up with Dietz & Watson, your official tailgate partner. Fuel up for the big game with a delicious Dietz & Watson sandwich spread and enjoy endless combinations of fresh sliced deli meats and cheeses in a variety of bold flavors, guaranteed to spice up game day. And don't forget to fire up the grill with perfectly smoked premium franks and sausages. There's something for everyone in the family. Head to DietzandWatson.com to find a local retailer near you. Dietz & Watson. It's a family thing. Premium meats and artisan cheeses since 1939.
Want the latest in word swag? Check out the shop tab on wordradio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. The shop tab on wordradio.com. Show the world that you're all about black. Talk Media. This is Word Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Black. Talk Media.
I know you want to leave me, but I refuse to let you go. If I have to beg, plead for your sympathy, I don't mind, 'cause you mean that much to me. Ain't you proud to beg? Yes, you know it. Please don't leave me, girl. Ain't you proud to plead, baby, baby? Please don't leave me, girl. Now I heard a crying man is half a man with no sense of pride. But if I have to cry to keep you, I don't mind weeping if you will keep by my side. Ain't you proud of me, sweet darling? Please don't leave me, girl. Ain't you proud of me, baby, baby? Please don't leave me, girl. If I have to sleep on your
I get so caught up in the music. Family, you are listening to Save Space on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. That's 96.1 FM and 900 AM. We've been talking with none other than comedian extraordinaire, Mr. Terry Hodges, and he's been sharing so much wealth, okay? He's been dropping all kinds of pearls. But I stopped Terry from talking to us about working on one of the most poignant and significant films of our time, the Malcolm X movie. Please, please, please talk to us about having worked on that film.
It was historic. You felt that it was historic. Spike worked, oh man, that guy worked. I mean, it's 24 hours in a day. He was working 34 hours a day. And Denzel, everybody was really, really cool. Like I said, I never talked to him. I didn't crowd his space. I didn't do anything. And this is a funny story because one day, Patti LaBelle and I were at Madison Square Garden, and him and his wife came to the show. And when I walked out on stage, he looked like, that's the dude I see on the set you know. And every time I see him, now here's the funny thing. I said I never talked to him. I never crowded his space. Every time he see me, he speaks to me.
I love them. They've always been warm to me. Always.
Yes. So yeah. But I want to say this before I go. I just did an hour about my life and about all of the things and everything that I've done. I want all the listeners to understand it ain't about me. It's 150 trillion% God looking out for me. So I don't, people get up, oh yeah, well I did this and I did that. I did all of that through the grace of God. Through the grace of God. It's not Terry Hodges bragging. It's me bragging about God.
You know what, Terry? So I'm going to share because Terry and I just had this like in-depth conversation. We always do, but we just had this in-depth conversation about 2 days ago, was it? And we were just acknowledging all of our blessings and talking about how much God has done and how much he is doing, and you know, just how much grace he's given the both of us and how much mercy he's shown to the both of us. And I'm happy to hear you say that. I always say it. You know, but I think it's so important, especially well for anybody, to acknowledge their blessings, and especially and particularly those of us who work in this industry. You
but egos. You know what ego stand for?
What does it stand for? What does it stand for?
Edging God out.
Oh. Wait, can you say that again?
Ego stands for edging God out. People take God out and act like it's all about them.
They do it all the time. We see it all the time. We work with individuals who do that. We do.
Right.
We do. We work through it and work with them. But you're absolutely right. It is, oh my goodness, I must say, with everything that you've just shared with us, and you have so much more to share. You know, I'm not going to stop you just yet. I'm going to let you keep talking, okay? Because I still want to hear more, and our listeners are telling me that they want to hear more stories as well. But I could not go further without acknowledging and saying thank you for acknowledging from whom your blessings come, and how they, you know, how they flow, because that's how they keep coming. Am I right about it?
Keep coming. Exactly.
Am I right about it? So listen, I know I want to ask you now, with regard to your career and from where you've come and where you're going, what would your suggestion be to someone who wanted to start in comedy?
My suggestion would be, don't do it. Don't start out for the money. Study the older comedians, Richard Pryor's, the Bill Cosby's, the Dick Gregory's, a lot of George Carlin, Lenny Bruce, Dave Chappelle, Eddie Murphy. You know, study these comedians. Don't get into show business for the glamour. Get into show. Don't start out in show business for the glamour or the money, because you're never going to make it. If you start out because that's what you love and that's what you want to do, then the universe will bring you to where you need to be. And God is the universe.
Hello.
You know, so you start out go to clubs. You have to have ideas and take funny moments in your life and get on stage and work those funny moments out. And for 3 or 4 months, you might only have 3 minutes of jokes. You work the hell out of them 3 minutes. And then you work the hell out of those 6 minutes. And then you work the hell out of those half an hour. Prime example, then I said, Chris Rock is a perfect example. Chris Rock started a tour last week. This is how it goes. Chris Rock will do 6 months of going on stage with a piece of paper and working out new jokes. And people say, man, I saw Chris Rock last night. He bombed. But he's working it out. It's like a basketball player going into a gym. So then the next 6 months, he will do theaters. And then for the year, he'd do theaters all over. That's 2 years, right?
Yeah.
He'll take 2 years and put it in an hour Netflix special.
Wow. You know,
when you see him up there, you thinking that, oh, he just came up with all this, and that's 2 years of preparation that he put into an hour.
Right. I'm listening to you break that down, and I'm thinking, so when I can't imagine, because there's different energy in every room, you know.
But when you do the clubs, is the thing that prepares you for the theaters.
Okay.
If you got a heckler in a club and somebody's drunk, and you learn to deal with that heckler in that club, and you get into a theater Constitution Hall in Washington, D.C., and somebody hollers something out, you know how to shut that down right away because you just did it with all these drunks in the theater. I mean, in the club. No basketball player, no football player, nobody is good unless they practice.
That's true. That's so true. That's so true. So, but you have to have a much thicker skin being a comedian because you're doing it publicly. You are. I mean,
that's why you have to be dedicated to it. You got to have a thick skin because you got to have a thick skin just to live.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know.
So how about that?
Yeah, you know, and but yeah, that's you go to the club. That's what I would suggest any comedian is like Kevin Hart, the great Kevin Hart from Philadelphia. Everybody looks at him now and say, "Oh yeah, he's making all this money." But he worked. He did exactly what I'm telling you. He hit the clubs every night. He did this. He did that. Did nobody give Kevin Hart nothing? Then the genius with Kevin Hart was he was a genius in the sense that he was the first comedian to use social media.
Oh wow!
So Kevin Hart was using social media when people didn't know nothing about social media. So he would do stuff like, "Oh, I'm going to Best Buy to see if they got my DVD." Well, it'd be 40,000 people that would tune in to see if they have his DVD. So he got so many followers on social media that when he do movies, the movie theater had to pay him to use his followers.
You know what?
He's a great businessman. I'm sorry.
No. I was agreeing with you. He's an exceptional businessman. You know, and I agree with you. I saw Kevin when he was, as they say, working it out in Philly. Right. Yeah, I remember that, and you know what? I remember seeing him at what used to be Patti LaBelle's club, Shea LaBelle. He used to come through there all the time. I'm
gonna make a prediction today, and I'm the first one to say this.
Okay.
I'm gonna predict that Kevin Hart is going to end up being the second black billionaire comedian. People don't realize the first black billionaire comedian is Bill Cosby.
Well, you said it. You said you think so. You're claiming that, but Kevin, you know what? That's not far off. Yeah, I'm thinking between what movies, TV. He and his wife have a line now of workout gear.
The new wave billionaires, the way you become a billionaire today is through branding.
Mm-hmm.
And branding. Jay-Z probably sold $90 million worth of records, but he sold Rockaware for $209 million. He just invested $2 million into Uber, that's now $70 million. He just did a $300 million deal. When you look at Dr. Dre, he did $100 million in music. He did $700 million in beats.
I'm glad you started that conversation, Terry. You remember, you and I we talked about this 2 days ago. We just talked about, financial wellness and branding. Exactly.
Branding, Shaquille O'Neal, the ring thing when you come up to your house and they could see you.
Mm-hmm.
He went to the guy and said, "Hey, look, not only do I want a part of this, I want to put up part of the money for this. I don't want to just do the commercial. Every commercial that you see Shaquille O'Neal doing, he owns a part of that company."
Yep. That's how you do that.
That's
exactly how you do that. And
yeah.
Well, I want to say, Terry, don't you go anywhere, but I just want to say to everybody that we are so happy to be here with you tonight. And for those of you who are just tuning in, we are talking with none other than actor, writer, comedian extraordinaire, Mr. Terry Hodges. You're listening to Save Space on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. I'm inviting you all to call in, talk to us. Terry's waiting to talk to you too. You can do so by dialing 215-634-8065 or toll free at 1-866-361-0900. I'm going to continue talking with you, Terry, because I'm enjoying very much the conversation that we are having. And I feel like I've cut off so many good conversations. You've given us some little pearls that I've put in my pocket, but I did have a message that came in. Someone was asking to go back to the conversation about Malcolm X, the Malcolm X movie, and about what it felt like on set working with everyone.
Historical. You just felt good. If you didn't have no lines, if you were just a guy that put on the suit, it was just a historical atmosphere. You knew that you were involved in something great, and it didn't matter what your role was in the movie. You know? And then you looked at they had a lot of fantastic actors in that movie. Not just Denzel, they had a lot of people. Delroy Lindo.
Yeah, Delroy Lindo. Oh my goodness.
Remember he was the hustler, and they had, it just felt so, you knew you were a part of being something great. That's how it was. And I was fortunate because I was the FOI, the Fruit of Islam, one of Malcolm's bodyguard. And I was one of 6 people. Now they had hundreds and hundreds of FOIs. I was one of only 6 that they gave credit for. Like at the end of the movie, it said FOI comedian, or just a comedian, it said FOI Terry Howard.
Really?
Because I was hired directly by Robbie Reed and Spike Lee.
So wait, Terry, were you also in, I don't know if you'll remember this, when, because I had gone to the movie premiere in New York at the Ziegfeld Theater, and I still
was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Was that not a historic night?
Yeah,
but I still have my my program, the booklet that they gave us.
Yeah. The book, the black. It was black.
Yes. Yeah, with the silver X
with
on
the
it.
gray X. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yes. Are you in the program booklet? Can I see you in the program booklet?
No, I'm not in that.
Okay.
I'm in about maybe 8 or 9 scenes in the movie. And like I said, I was so cool with Spike and everybody. I probably could have got other scenes. It probably could have spoke. I didn't care. I was just happy to be there. It was just one of them type of things. You was like, I'm just gonna be quiet.
I'm
Angela
glad.
Bassett.
Yeah. First of all, thank you, Justin, for asking the question. But it took me to that moment because he asked, and I said, "Yeah, well, what did that feel like being in the presence?"
Here's another thing. Warner Brothers didn't want to give Spike the rest of the money to finish it. Bill Cosby, Magic Johnson, and a couple of other people put $25 million together to finish that movie.
I heard that.
Yeah.
I did not know there was truth to that.
Yeah, that's true. They didn't want it. Warner Brothers didn't want to give him the rest of the money. They felt that it was over budget in the whole nine. But Spike is a genius, but along with being a genius, he is extraordinarily hard worker.
Well, you know what? That does not surprise me. I mean, look at his body of work.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that just doesn't come easy. It doesn't come easily. He's been, I feel like, he's one of those individuals of our time that has been charged with so much because we are all like Spike. Every word that he says, every single word that he speaks, every body of work that he puts out, we are on it. And with good reason, because he's excellent at what he does.
Let me tell you this, that a lot of people don't know. Spike Lee has put more African Americans to work than anybody. I mean, Tyler Perry is doing it now, but think about this. Samuel L. Jackson was nobody. He was in the movie School Days.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? When you look at Sam, when you look at the girl, Martin Lawrence was in Do the Right Thing. Just so many, it's so many people. Oh, Halle Berry played the crackhead in Jungle Fever.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole list of people that came through. When you look at all of Spike's movies and you see all of the black people that came out of Spike Lee's movies that have gone on to stardom. Mm-hmm. They got Ruth Carter.
Yes.
Who's the wardrobe person for Black Panther. She just won an Oscar for Black Panther. Mm-hmm. She started with Spike. Her first job was with Spike Lee.
I did not know that.
Yes.
Are you serious?
Ruth Carter's first job was with Spike Lee.
Terry, oh my goodness. Okay, so let me ask you this. What is next for you?
I am writing a television show right now that I know is going to get picked up. I'm going to write my autobiography.
Yes.
I'm going to be and I am an author. I want to be a concert promoter, and I want to be a television producer, and I'm going to do all of those. Those are the things that I'm channeling in over between now as we speak, over the next 30 years.
Manifesting it.
I want to be a businessman, and like what we talked about the other day, I think Black people in Black America should focus on Black economic inclusion. That's where we're falling short at. We need to be economically sound. Back when I was growing up, the neighborhood stores, the bartender, the bar, the pool room, everything was Black. And that dollar generated in the Black community at least 3 times before it left out of the community. We as the people have to get back into protecting our dollar and being included in all of the economics that's going on in America.
Yeah, and that is such a deep conversation. We because there's so many levels and so many layers to that. But you and I touched on it the other day.
Right.
We were talking about that. And I agree with you. I feel that it is so important, and we've gotten so far away from it.
Right. And we need to get back. And it starts from the very bottom to the very top. When I was growing up, I had a job when I was in the 8th grade. I was buying my own school clothes when I was 8th, 9th grade.
Terry, let me tell you something. What my mother did. So, and you don't even know this story, but my family had stores when I was growing up, and my mother and we lived in the apartment above. Those of you who know me from 15th and Bainbridge, you used to see me out there scrubbing those marble steps right next door to the store. But my mother and I lived above our family store. And when I was 9 years old, my first job was washing the dishes. The little neighbors used to call me, one of my mother's friends used to call me pot washer. But when I started doing the dishes, I made $3 a night. My mother said, okay, well, so now you have a job. She took me to PSFS, the bank that was at 15th and Murray. For those who will remember, she walked me to PSFS. She said, okay, so now you have your own bank account. We opened an account. She said, now you have your own account. You're making your own money. You are responsible for what you need and want. She said, anything outside of school, she said, I'll buy your school shoes and your school clothes, but anything else you need it's on you.
Right.
When I tell you, I thought it was the harshest thing when it happened, but it was the absolute best thing that she ever did. I mean, my mother gave me, she did so much, so I am in no way discounting anything else that she did. Anybody who knows me knows how much I love Marcine Riddick, but with regard to that instance and that experience particularly, she taught me so much about life and about managing my finances and about independence, financial independence, and
that's what Black America has to get back to. I mean, that's what Wall Street was all about.
Indeed.
Wall Street, that's what it was all about. I mean,
Indeed.
It's like we have to get back to, and I say get back to, I mean, they've not let us, we have to be included in Black Americans have trillions of dollars a year that we don't spend in our own community because we don't even have communities anymore. When I grew up, here's the funny thing about life. When I grew up, the lawyers, the doctors, the school teachers, everybody lived in the neighborhood. In the 70s, when affirmative action and everything, and everybody moved out to the suburbs. So from that point, Martin Luther King made a statement. He said, I have led my people into a burning building. And what he meant was he felt that he was wrong when we did integration. We should have stayed where we was at and continue to build our community. Because today, there's no Black community. You got people that next door to you. That's not a community. A community is if you said a curse word 3 blocks away, before you got home, your parents already knew you was cursing 3 blocks away.
Let me tell you how you did not lie when you just said that. Okay? Listen, there are a handful of people that I know that are listening right now that could say, oh yeah, because we were those people for Little Riddick, because that's what they called me when I was Little Riddick. Little Riddick, you go right home. Little Riddick, you go straight home.
Right.
If I blinked incorrectly, my mother knew about it before I got home. You hear me?
I knew how to be a gentleman to women from older guys hanging out on the corner.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was taught that you was a weak man, and you never wanted a woman to know you was a weak man by putting your hands on her. You never put your hands on a woman. You never, you know, it was so many things that in the neighborhood that these kids do not have today.
You are
and
so
it goes right back. It goes right back. You learn a lot of the stuff that you learn from older people in the neighborhood. Your older brother, your older cousin. You know, you could have somebody next door to you, or older girl next door to you would teach you things. Or
those experiences were invaluable, and you're so right. They're not around today. Listen, Terry, I want to take a break.
Okay.
Everybody, if you are still with us, and I hope that you are, I hope that you'll stick around, because we'll be right back.
Okay.
Word Radio Digital Tip of the Month with Stephanie Humphrey. Brought to you by Comcast.
Whether you're ramping up your online shopping for the holidays or signing up for yet another streaming service trial, an email address is usually required for most online transactions. Before you sign up next time, consider a disposable email address. A temporary disposable email address can help protect your privacy and security online and prevent that dreaded spam from flooding your real inbox and taking over your life. You can create a separate account with whatever email service you're currently using, or look into services like Gorilla Mail, MailDrop, or Temp Mail that can generate email addresses when you only need one for a short amount of time. Save your inbox from an organizing headache and protect your privacy with a disposable email address. Stay tuned to WURD for more tips and stay connected with us at wordradio.com.
The Word Digital Tip of the Month was brought to you by Comcast.
Saving for a down payment can be difficult, but that home you've had your eye on could be closer than you think. $15,000 closer. Find out if you qualify for $15,000 in down payment assistance. Go to wellsfargo.com/liftup. Get closer to home at wellsfargo.com/liftup. Additional restrictions apply. Customers can work with any Neighborhood Lift program approved lender for their home financing needs. Neighborhood Lift is a collaboration of Wells Fargo Bank, N.A. Wells Fargo Foundation, and Neighbor Works America. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A. All rights reserved. NMLSR ID 399801. Equal housing lender. Break out the late night fun and the plans that came out of nowhere. Break out everyone's favorite hangout snacks. Break out the chips that Philly has turned to for over 75 years. Because when it's time to truly live it up and absolutely get down, it's time to break out the Hers. Stock up on classics like Hers Crisp and Tasty, Sour Cream and Onion, and Barbecue. So you can be ready to break out the good times, the fun times, the best times. Break out the Hers.
Join Word Radio Thursday, November 18th at the West Oak Lane Senior Center, located at 7210 Ogons Avenue, for our Sassy Seniors event honoring our seniors who are still active. Word Radio will bring community resources during open enrollment for the Affordable Care Act, making sure seniors are in the know of what services are offered to them. Every Thursday during The Source, Andrea Lawful Sanders will be hosting live from various sites across the city. The next stop is November 18th at West Oak Lane Senior Center. Word Radio is creating a space important for Philadelphia's African American community to gain information and, more importantly, to ask questions from the insurance and senior service community about the best options for their health as they get older. Join us Thursday, November 18th at 7210 Ogons Avenue. Be sure to wear your mask. Sassy Seniors is brought to you by Pico, Comcast, Keystone First, Exclusive Home Care Agency Always Best Care, and Independence Blue Cross. Save Space on Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Independent Black Media.
Family, hey there. If you have just joined us, you're listening to Save Space on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, 96.1 FM and 900 AM. Call us at 215-634-8065 or toll free at 1-866-361-0900. We've been talking with none other than Mr. Terry Hodges. For those of you who are unfamiliar and or unaware, he is an actor, a writer, a comedian. He's a mentor. And he's just been sharing so much knowledge with us this evening. And he's also my friend. So, ha.
Yep.
Terry, first of all, my goodness, everything. So Chip is saying that, you're sharing, we're talking about elder wisdom. You're sharing elder wisdom for those who are up and coming. And for that, I'm eternally grateful, because I know there are some, who are out there wondering, so how, and what do I do? I want to go back to something, because I'm digesting everything that you shared with us, but things are popping out at me now. But so when you talked about not having an agent or a manager, can you share with us like some of, or one even of your biggest challenges and your greatest advantage?
Well, first of all, when not having a manager or agent, it's very hard, because I came up kind of different from everybody else, because I had Al Heyman, I had people like Deanna, I had people like Eddie LeVert, I had people. So what happened also, my professionalism got me to the point where the artists started calling me. Like Patti LaBelle would call me instead of the agent, and Luther Vandross would call me instead of, Luther would tell the promoter, I want this. I want Patti LaBelle to say, I want this. Anita Baker said, I want this, which would be me. It's like, it's kind of a strange situation, because a lot of agents, and I'm just going to say what I want to say. A lot of agents, they with you long as you hot. The minute you're not hot anymore, they moved on to they're like parasites. They move, the soon as you're not doing this or you're not doing that, they move on to the next hot thing. And it's like, I never wanted to have my career like that. I always wanted to, because everything comes from God anyway. So and here's what I always thought. Tyler Perry is a genius for this reason, what I'm getting ready to say. And this is what I did 30 years ago. The agents and the managers, Warner Brothers, Paramount, the biggest movie companies in the world, Netflix, none of them are nothing if the public don't support the act. The act is the goal, not the agent, not the manager. So what Tyler Perry did was he built his whole empire on the black churches with his plays. He locked into that $1 trillion money that comes from the black community with all of his plays, Medea. That wasn't, white folks didn't understand that stuff, and he didn't care. So now when you look at Tyler Perry now, his movie studio is bigger than Paramount and Warner Brothers put together.
It's amazing.
Why? Because he was smart enough to say, okay, the agent ain't, they don't understand what I'm doing. The managers don't understand what I'm doing. Hollywood don't understand what I'm doing, but I have a core of people over here, which is black folks, that do understand what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is most agents are uncreative people. They go and get the creative people, and they I don't want to use the word pimp, but they get the and I say pimp because what happens is the second you ain't hot no more, they ain't calling you no more.
Yeah, we are a commodity.
And that's it. And so what I've always done was I've always worked. I used to do stuff like this, like Oscar Cohen at ABC Booking. ABC Booking was Nita Baker, the OJs, Phyllis Hyman, Will Downing was with them, Roberta Flack, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, B.B. King. They had a guy named Oscar. He was the owner of the place, right?
Mm-hmm.
I used to go up and talk to him all the time. And he was like, at that time, he was like in his late 70s. Well, ain't nobody coming to talk to Oscar. So I used to go up there and talk to him all the time. Guess what he do? Every time it was the time for a tour, they need a comedian. Guess what they're going to call? The guy that's been talking to him all the time. So he told me, and plus it was Al Heyman's tour. So Oscar told me one day, I was with Anita Baker, right? He told me one day, he says, he's standing up with Jody Winnick. I don't know if you know Jody Winnick, Oscar Cohen, and all these guys. They were Anita Baker's agent.
Okay.
He says, Terry, come here, let us talk to you for a minute. I said, hey, what's going on? He said, you're a very smart guy. I said, well, why would you say that? He said, because you've been opening up all our acts for the last 5 or 6 years, and we never made a damn dime off of you. You know what I'm saying? So
yes.
So a lot of here's what I'm trying to say to everybody who's listening. The more you do on your own, the more you can control.
Whew. That's it right there.
The more you do on your own, the more you can control, because the agent ain't the power. The manager ain't the power. The studio's not the power. The public is. Okay, right now, if I went and do my television show, right? And next year, my television show is the hottest show in America. I could hire you, Carol, to answer the phone and book everything that I need to book. I don't need William Morris and all of these different agents to do that. I don't need them. Now, they have the connections, but guess what? If you book me, okay, right now, if I had Warner Brothers saying, or William Morris say, okay, we're booking Terry at Madison Square Garden. Don't nobody come. Dave Chappelle may not have an agent or a manager, which he does, but he may not have an agent or a manager. Mm-hmm. But the fact that he's already loved and the public is already, listen to this, is very important in show business. The public is the power. Once the public accepts you and love you, that's the real power, not the agent or the manager.
Not a truer word was spoken.
And I always tapped into the public, which is the reason why Tyler Perry is where he's at today.
And because he's unapologetic about.
He doesn't have to be. He doesn't.
No, he's unapologetic. He doesn't have to be apologetic at all, but he is unapologetic, and I love that about his walk. I love that about his journey.
You know why? Because he has two things going for him. Excuse me. Number one, he has God. He believes in God. Mm-hmm. And number two, guess what he has? He has $1 trillion that's backing him. The black community, he tapped in. Perfect example. What do most black people say? I want to cross over. Tyler Perry don't give a damn about crossing over.
How about that? You ain't never lied. You ain't never lied. But he doesn't need to. And it's because of what we're say this again.
Most of them don't realize it. Let me tell you a story. I don't know which song it was. I don't know if it was Lonely Teardrops or Your Love Is Lifting Me Higher with Jackie Wilson. His manager, Jackie Wilson's manager, put his unborn son as the writer of that song.
Wait a minute, what?
His manager put his unborn son as the writer of that song that Jackie Wilson. His manager put his son.
How do you know that?
I study all of this stuff. You can't, that's another thing that's important. You can't be in whatever field you in, whether it's singing, acting, being a garbage man, being a teacher, you have to study whatever it is that you're doing. And you have to know the insides and the outs. Jackie Wilson's manager, let's say if he was getting, I'm just guessing, let's say he was getting $15,000 a show. He would tell Jackie that he got $5,000. And then Jackie would take the $5,000 and he would have to go to his manager to borrow money that he was really borrowing his own money. That's why Jackie Wilson ended up broke. A lot of these guys end up broke because of the agents and the manager. Let me tell you about Comedy Club. This is very, if you don't mind, you got time.
No, go right ahead.
Okay, listen to this. You got to stick with me for a minute. This is how comedy clubs. Okay, you take the Improv. You take what's the club in Philly?
The comedy club that in Philly now.
Philly Improv. Okay, you take all of the white comedy clubs in America. This is before Def Jam. This is how Def Jam dropped the ball when they didn't get comedy clubs around, black comedy clubs around the country. Okay, you got to bear with me for a minute. Okay.
Yeah, well, wait, because you got a couple of minutes. I'm gonna ask you this because we're going to go to break in a second. Do you want to hold the story and we talk?
I'll hold the story.
Okay, you hold that story. Well, wait. I want to recognize that Rosalind Allen is saying hello to us. Rosalind is saying hello to the entire WURD family. So I want to make sure that I continue to recognize and acknowledge all of our participants and listeners and everybody who's on our socials and is sending us messages. Reese is saying hi as well. Chip is still saying hey. Chip, thank you for hanging out with us. I should say that because you've been a trooper. You've really been hanging in there with us, and I appreciate you. Love you to pieces, as you know that I do. Terry, before you tell us this one story, because I want to hear the entire story, but like I said, I want to make sure that we have enough time to do everything that we're going to do. What I want you to do also, as you're holding on to that story, is to think, well, you know what? I'll hold on to that. I'm going to let you begin to tell us the story. How about that? How about you just tell us a little bit before we go to break?
Okay. You got 10 of the top black comedians. You got D.L. Hughley, you got Cedric the Entertainer, et cetera, et cetera. You got Eddie Griffin. Now, these 10 black comedians, they play these white clubs twice a year. So they do a door bar deal. They get the comedians get the door and the club gets the bar.
And these are with the smaller clubs, not the arenas.
No, these are smaller clubs. 300 seaters, et cetera. So you got 10 comedians playing 10 weeks, right? The club makes between $80,000 to $100,000 that week with a well-known artist, between the food and the drink, and the comedian gets the door. So if they making, let's just say $100,000 just to round off. That's $1 million that club has made in 10 weeks. Now, they recycle these same 10 comedians, Bruce, they recycle these same comedians twice a year. That's $2 million. That's 20 weeks. It's 32 weeks. It's 52 weeks in a year. You've already taken out 20. They do a mailing list for the other 32 weeks, but they've already made $2 million in 20 weeks from these black artists, but there's no black comedy club in America.
Oh, Terry.
They're black comedy nights.
Right, but no, there's not one black owned comedy club in the United States.
No, I think they just got one in Houston that they trying to get started. But in answering your question, no, So that goes right back to what I'm talking about, economic.
My goodness.
So that's $2 million that this one club in Philly or wherever, there's $2 million that club has made, and they send out. That's why when you go to a comedy club, they want you to fill out the mailing list. They want you to, because they bring in whack comedians for the rest of the year, and they paper the house most of the time. So they're making $5 or $6 million a year in these comedy clubs, but their main source of income is Black comedians.
My word. Wait, Terry, on that note, everybody, you're listening to Save Space on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. Stay with us because we'll be right back.
Word family, the Go to Know campaign was a success. Thank you all for your support of the Word Radio Go to Know campaign. Word partners, the Colorectal Cancer Alliance, Independence Foundation, Penn Medicine, and LabCorp say thank you. Now that the campaign is officially over, we still are in need of the at-home screening test to be returned for processing. Remember, you reached out, talked to a patient navigator, and now we have to get these fit kits back for processing. Let's finish this campaign strong. Take the test, swap the stool, and get the fit kit back in the mail. It is that simple. Do it today.
The future depends on teachers. Every day, teachers are shaping our tomorrows, starting their students on journeys that will change the course of history. Right now, in a classroom somewhere in the United States, there's a teacher inspiring a future scientist who will make preventing pandemics their life's work, sharpening the mind of an aspiring environmentalist who will help combat climate change, and generating possibilities for a student who will be the first in their family to graduate college. It all starts with teachers who meet challenges with creativity, who reinvent education for the future, who work towards a school system that lifts up every child, regardless of race, income, or zip code, and who enable the full potential of our students, our communities, and our country. Explore a career that leaves a legacy you can be proud of. Shape the future. Teach. Learn more and receive free support at teach.org.
Hello, I'm Jose Hernandez, and I have been using a wheelchair since my accident in 1995. I guess if I had one message for the general public, it would be that I appreciate your help. But please, ask first. I know you mean well, but I've actually got everything under control. And if I don't, I'll ask for assistance. People with disabilities just want the same respect and consideration as everyone else.
This is a message from United Spinal Association. Download our disability etiquette booklet at unitedspinal.org.
Stand with Word Radio, the only Black-owned talk radio station in Pennsylvania. Did you know you can join the Forward movement and amplify voices of the Black community as a digital member for as low as $5 per month? Visit membership at wordradio.com or call 215-425-7875. We need you. Show your support. Start or renew your Forward membership today. Save Space on Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Independent Black Media.
She said, son, you're growing up now. Pretty soon you'll take a bride. And then she said, just because you become a young man now, there's still some things that you don't understand now. Before you ask some girl for a hand now, keep your freedom for as long as you can now. My mama told me, you better shop around. Oh yeah, you better shop around.
Hey there, family. Welcome back. You're listening to Save Space on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. We've been talking for the majority of this past hour. Well, since the beginning of the show, we've had one guest tonight, and that has been the one and only Mr. Terry Hodges. And we were just having a conversation that is so near and dear to my heart about economics. You know, it just hurts me to know where we are as a people economically. And it looks as if Rosalind Allen agrees with me in our socials. Rosalind says that in this decade and time, we need to put all our money together and just stop the bull crap. Rosalind, I have to say that I am in full agreement with you. I am in full agreement with you. We really do need to come together, but you know, That's a whole conversation. We don't even know how to communicate with one another. We don't know how to talk yet, to one another. But Terry, oh my goodness, I am still dumbfounded and shocked. And I don't know why I am, but I am at the fact that you just told me we don't have not one Black-owned comedy club in the United States. Is that what you said?
Yeah, you got comedy nights. You don't have like somebody like remember Warm Daddies used to have a comedy night.
I do remember.
And then they had one on South Street, but it closed.
The Laugh House.
The Laugh House closed. But
now
right now, you go to Caroline's. Caroline's is the #1 comedy club in Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
And they're 90% of their money comes from Black comedians.
So okay. So tell me, how is it that you as a successful African American man and so many others, how is it that we don't have a comedy club that you all like? How come you all haven't started one? How about that?
Well, I had one in Detroit, but I'm just gonna go there. A lot of times you get a lot of these comedians who's up there, and I'm not hating because I've always been good.
Mm-hmm.
They rather do the improv in your club.
Oh wow! Wow!
But when you look at white America, I just say America.
Okay.
When you look at America, they've always came in and sucked up what we have. For example, you look at Jackie Robinson. Okay, the great baseball player Jackie Robinson.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Jackie Robinson was a phenomenal baseball player, but that's not the reason why they wanted him to go to the majors. You know why they wanted him to go to the majors? Because on Sundays, the Negro League, your grandparents and everybody else's grandparents would get their fried chicken, their Kool-Aid, and they would go to the parks and watch Satchel Paige in the Negro League. The America needed to tap into that money. So once they got Jackie Robinson and they started eventually putting Black comedians into the National American League, as time went on, the Negro League died out. It was more about economics than it was anything else. Same thing with Wall Street. The young boy allegedly gropes a white woman in the elevator. And she goes and said this Black kid groped her in the elevator. So now it's a white mob. They go to this guy's house, but the Black men were men. We're not letting you lynch him. We're not giving him up. We're not letting you take him to a jail, because if we let him take you to the jail, he's going. So what happened was it's a very interesting story. It wasn't even about that. It was about these niggas is living better than us. That's what. Let me go a little deeper. Doing Reconstruction, doing slavery, when slaves were free, this is very important. When slaves were free,
okay,
the overseers didn't do nothing. They didn't know how to farm. They didn't know how to do nothing. All they knew how to do was manage the slaves. The slaves were the geniuses that built everything. So now there's no need for the overseer no more. So now the slave stays on the plantation because he don't have nowhere to go, but he still can eat and sleep on the plantation. The white overseer don't have a job. He don't have anything because he's not needed anymore. So now he goes, you ready for this? He hates the same slave that he was whooping and beating and killing is living better than him now. They go and get a group of people, you ready for this? The Ku Klux Klan did not originate in the South. The Ku Klux Klan originated in Indiana. It migrated to the South because of this type of reason. And they use the movie The Birth of a Nation to highlight black people killing and raping white women. If you go look at the movie, the black people that's in the movie ain't even black. They in blackface.
Oh my. Okay, so tell me this. No. I mean, these are conversations that we need to have. But tell me this. So how is it that here we are, we're in 2021, and you are a successful actor, writer, comedian, you know, you're a successful individual. How is it that those of you who are, you know, in your position have not come together to open a comedy club? Or how is it that you all...
It's hard. It's hard. I'm not going to sit on this telephone and sugarcoat it. A lot of these people, I'm not going to just say it to comedians, a lot of blacks, I got it, you get yours. And that is the death of our race.
Yeah.
That is the death of our race. I've been in situations. I'm not going to name names because I don't want to do that. I had a situation with the House of Blues that I did a show in Texas. I called well-known comedians to come and do the show for me. I'm paying them the same that they say, oh no, we can't do that because we do a number of dates at the Improv every month. So I'm saying not every month, every year. So I'm saying, okay, well, this is how I know show business to go. Show business go like this is 60 days out. So if you're doing a show now, why can't you do my show 60 days out?
Exactly. Why not?
And not only that, okay, tell me the date that you doing this show at the Improv. They can't even tell you the date that they're doing at the Improv. It's like this conversation is getting deep because the reason why it's getting deep, it ain't so much about the white man. And that's what I'm trying to get. That's what I'm trying to say about economic inclusion in terms of Black America. We have to be responsible for our economics.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I say, we just talked about that. And Rosalind, please do not think that I do not see your comments. Rosalind is commenting on our socials, and she one of her comments is that, you know, Black people don't know enough about their history. She says she sure didn't know some of the stuff that you shared, and she's a fifth generation.
You ever heard of Reginald Lewis?
I have not.
Reginald F. Lewis is the first Black person to own $1 billion company, Beatrice International. He died of a brain aneurysm years and years ago. He's out of Baltimore.
Reginald F. Lewis?
Everybody look up Reginald F. Lewis. He was so smart, he got accepted into Harvard Law School and didn't even apply. He wrote a book called Why Do the White Men Have to Have All the Fun, talking about stocks and the way the world is today. He was a genius.
Wait a minute, Terry. Wait a minute, because you're going too fast. I need to know the name of that book because I need to get it.
Why does white people have to have either white people or white men have to have all fun?
Okay, I'll find it. Well, I have his name, Reginald F. Lewis, you said.
Right, Reginald F. Lewis.
Well, I most certainly am going to do some research because I was completely unaware of him.
Yeah, he's out of Baltimore. He's passed away, but he's the first Black to run $1 billion company. And he in the 80s, in the 1980s, he was the richest Black man in the United States.
Wait a minute, the 1980s?
Yeah, 1980s. We talking about 1980s. We ain't talking about no prehistoric stuff. Reginald F. Lewis. Yeah, look him up.
Mardia just posted it, Reginald F. Lewis. Thank you, Marty. Thank you. And she's so right. We are not informed. But you know what? That's exactly why it's so important for us to communicate with each other, to share and to be open. I find so often that we're not open to the conversations. I don't know what that is.
Can I tell you how brilliant Bill Cosby was?
Please.
In the 80s, well, first of all, Bill Cosby was already everything you see Shaquille O'Neal doing today, Bill Cosby did in the 70s. Okay.
We'll have to do it quickly, though. I'm sorry.
Okay, let me say this. Bill Cosby went to every network and said, I want to do a show called The Cosby Show. Everybody turned him down. Okay. He went back to NBC and said, I won't take a salary, but I'll take 51% ownership. They sold the Cosby Show for $1.3 billion. He got 51% of $1.3 billion from the Cosby Show and turned around and got 51% of A Different World. And we're talking about Michael Jackson next.
Next, oh, Lord. Terry. Oh, heavens to Murgatroyd. Heavens to Murgatroyd. When I tell you... So what's going to happen is that I'm going to call you after the show and soak up some more of this knowledge. Okay. Oh my goodness, Chip said he knew someone who worked for Reginald Lewis. Chip has been listening to us all night. He knew someone who worked for him.
Ask Chip, do I know what I'm talking about?
Well, Chip already said, he said, yes, you absolutely do. Yes, he did. He said he was famous in the 80s and it was one time the wealthiest Black man in America. Oh my word. Listen, family. It pains me. I am terribly sorry to say that my time with you this week has come to an end. My word. I don't want to stop the conversation. I enjoy the WURD and Save Space family so much. And I hope you've enjoyed our time together as well. Thank you. Thank you to Sarah Lomax Reese. Thank you to Tiffany Bacon. Thank you to Miss Kayla J. Thank you, family, for all your love, your blessings, your well wishes. And thank you most importantly to the one from whom all blessings flow. Thank you to tonight's guest, Mr. Terry Hodges, and to all of our guests this week. Oh my goodness, I've had so much fun. I really do hope you have. As always, it was my pleasure and my privilege. Remember, everybody, we're all in this together, so be good to you, please, but be good to those around you. Stay tuned, everybody. Keeping It Real with Al Sharpton is next.
And I want to explore every part of your heart and get to know the core.